Before I go into the main plot of this video, let's get into a brief background about the book itself and its author. Published in Russia in 1886, it was written by Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy, Leo Tolstoy as usually referred to in English. Quoting Marx, is the story of a worldly careerist, a high court judge who has never given the inevitability of his death so much as a passing thought. But one day death announces itself to him, and to his shocked surprise he is brought face to face with his own mortality. How, Tolstoy asks, does an reflective man confront his one and only moment of truth? The short novel was the artistic culmination of a profound spiritual crisis in Tolstoy's life, a 9-year period following the publication of Anna Karenina, during which he wrote not a word of fiction. A totally absorbing and at times terrifying glimpse into the abyss of death. It is also a strong testament to the possibility of finding spiritual salvation. A group of law court officials found out that the colleague Ivan Ilyitch Golovin has died. One of the men, Pyotr Ivanovich, attends Ivan Ilyitch's funeral. He is uncomfortable and unsure how to behave. Ivan Ilyitch's widow, Praskovia Fedorovna, attempts to get Pyotr Ivanovich help her get more money from the government for Ivan Ilyitch's pension. After the funeral, Pyotr Ivanovich hurries away to enjoy a night of playing cards. This was a summary of chapter 1 from a website called Cliff's Notes, and the why I chose to show you the summary from it instead of writing my own is because I wanted to show that at the first glimpse it seems to be a completely normal chapter 1, right? Indeed it is, the same way we say that life is normal, but let's dive into some specific aspects of this chapter. Just like we read before, a group of law court find out that the colleague Ivan has died. So, the book starts with a protagonist already dead, which by the title seems obviously funny. In terms of chapter divisions, the first chapter occurs after the death of Ivan. The second and the third is more like a biography of the protagonist, and from the fourth to the 12th chapter, we join the narrator starting when Ivan is feeling a little pain from his disease, and ending eventually in his death. Back to the first page then, I will be quoting some interesting dialogues and insights of the narrator, and there is a better quote to start than the one who brought the news to Ivan's colleagues.
Gentlemen, he said, Ivan Ilyitch is dead. Can it be? Here, read it, he said to Fyodor Vasilievich, handing him the paper still smelling of fresh ink.
There is nothing for me to say about it. It is just straightforward to the point. On the first paragraph, we get to know what we already knew, the inevitable death of Ivan Ilyitch. From now on, things start to get really interesting, as it follows.
Ivan Ilyitch had been a colleague of the assembled gentlemen, and they had all liked him. His post had been kept open for him, but there was an understanding that, in case of his death, Alexiev might be named to his post, and to Alexiev's post either Vinnikov or Stabel. So that, on hearing of Ivan Ilyitch's death, the first thought of each of the gentlemen assembled in the office was of what this death might mean in terms of transfers or promotions of the members, themselves or of their acquaintances.
And right after I finished reading this paragraph, it was like if I got a punch in my stomach. And it was only the first page of the book. I believe these unsounded thoughts got me so high because it looked so much real. I mean, humans are like this by nature. This thought was one of the two that I want to point out. In my opinion, both give us an essence of empathy. Okay, the first one. They were all excited about how his death would impact in their career. Some can say that it shows zero empathy with Ivan, and some can say that it is normal and life has to keep moving on. Next point is that beside of what we saw before, the fact that one person that they already knew died made them feel a feeling of joy that it was he who was dead and not I.
You see, he's dead, and I'm not, each of them thought or felt. Close acquaintances, Ivan Ilyitch's so-called friends, involuntarily thought as well that it would now be necessary for them to fulfill the very boring obligations of decency, and go to the funeral service and to the widow on a visit of condolence.
And that was a big ouch. This book has a lot of big ouch. This is one of the things that made me like it so much. Another very good big ouch is one the dialogue between Ivan's wife and Pyotr Ivanovich.
During the last days he suffered terribly. He suffered very much? Asked Pyotr Ivanovich. Ah, terribly. The last, not minutes, but hours, he didn't stop screaming. For 3 days in a row he screamed incessantly. It was unbearable. I can't understand how I endured it. It could be heard through 3 doors. Ah, what I've endured.
And that was the grand finale, the icing on the cake. The first chapter was great. It goes deep into the theme of empathy, and the afterlife vision was a perfect combination. Sometimes I catch myself thinking of how people will react after my death. I mean, react in terms of what they will say. I hope I'm not the only one who have thought about this at least once. So imagine that you get to know all of this in the first chapter, and in the rest of the book, Ivan is there, alive. The catch is that you, the reader, know that he will die, and you also know what the people around him will talk and feel about him. It just works. It is a singular experience that makes us think heavily about empathy and how we treat the others while they are here with us. And that's why the chapter was perfect, for me at least. I highly recommend you all to give it a try and read it. It's a book that you can read in one sit. My version has like 80 pages or so. So it's a really small book, but it has a lot of content, a lot of things to think about it. So yeah, that was it. Let me know in the comments if you disagree or if you agree, if you already read it. And if you didn't, I really recommend again that you give it a try. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoy. I hope you learned something about this book or this chapter. And thank you so much.